So if you want to get stronger, build muscle, be more athletic, and not beat up your joints, and you're kind of like a washed up meathead like myself, here's the equipment that is a must-have in my eyes to continue training for life and make progress. All right, so check this out. So some of these I'm going to show you I feel like are must-haves because they're not as expensive an investment if you're somebody serious about making progress in the gym for life. And we'll start with the press, and think about like regular barbell bench. A lot of people that I know, once they get in their 30s, 40s, they've had injuries and they struggle with a regular barbell bench. Beats up their shoulders, elbows. Again, they can't push it as much because something's always hurting. One, and by the way, I have no affiliation with any of these. These are just really like things I believe in and love. The Kabuki Cadillac bar, and you can see it here from the side, phenomenal. We can see that curve to get the extra range of motion. You can see, like, unlike a regular football bar, you can see that it has the angles, and you can switch the angles up depending on how you flip the bar, and it just feels so much more shoulder friendly. Again, I've had folks that say like, hey, I just can't bench, and we'll do it with this one, and instantly they say, wow, this feels so much better because the angle that comes down, again, as soon as I kind of internally rotate, if you lack that, you're gonna have some issues. So on this one, and I'm gonna just use it without the load. Obviously, we have different kind of bars that we can grab here. You can see the path, and I can go deeper into that stretch position without my shoulder/humerus flying forward, right? So more range of motion. I can keep that W position, I'll say with my elbows, and this just feels so much better. And also because the curve is, with a regular, I would say football bar, that they're straight and you kind of get this tilt. You don't get that here. So it just feels so much better. And again, you can keep pressing with this for forever, for most people. Okay. Number two is the transformer bar. By the way, this one, you can see it gets used, right? Because it's beat up. But the cool thing about the transformer bar, you can see we can change the position of where I would say this lies. So you can make it a front squat position, a cambered bar, right? We can elevate this and make it more of a back squat. We can bring it down. Again, you can see and make it more of a camber bar position. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do with this. Again, this is unloaded, but for people that have restrictions in their shoulder, for most folks when they do back squats, they just don't have that external rotation to get there. And that just changes their position. But here, what I can do, right? Again, I don't have to have this thoracic shoulder mobility to now be able to squat, right? I can grab the bar. But again, just being able, you can see where this is. If we brought this further back, brought it up, it's a regular squat, I would say a back squat. Here, it's a little bit more in the front, a little bit more of a camber. So we have got a lot of different positions that we can use. And now I have a better position. I can bring my ribs down. It's not affecting my upper body in a way as far as how it sets up my lower body. And we can squat deep. And again, for folks that cannot back squat and we go to this and, a big variation we do will go like squat to a box for the range of motion to be restricted. This is phenomenal, right? And again, we can do a lot of stuff with it. We can lunge with it. So anything that you do with a barbell back squat, we're now doing, with this. So transformer bar from Kabuki. And it seems like everything's from Kabuki because I do love their stuff. But the trap bar, right? And I absolutely love this one and you can notice this, especially if you're training too, like I train a lot of different ranges of people from elite athletes to general population. And you can see that the handles here, thinner, right? And then we got thicker if we want to work grip and we can flip it. Also, this thing, as far as like where I can just tilt it up and stack plates on it and off of it, that just makes it so much easier to set up. But beyond that, again, the open trap bar and having those higher handles is just so much more friendly than, for instance, a regular straight bar off the floor. Now, again, I have no kind of issues with the straight bar off the floor, but for most people, especially once they've beat up their joints and their hips and their low back, this is such a better variation. And being able to, again, get better positions and having that open, I would say open position also allows us to do what? Well, I can flip this around and now we can do reverse lunges. We can do Bulgarian split squats, right? So we can do a lot of different things with it. It just gives us a lot of options, right? And when I look at these, again, there are somewhat of an investment, but if you have a home gym, right, like this equipment will last for forever, and it's very, very good ROI on your training long term to be able to get stronger, build muscle, and again, save your joints. So these three, now I'm gonna show you some that are like, I would say a nice to have, but certainly phenomenal. All right, so these are nice to have, for me, almost a must now. So while the others I showed are, in the hundreds of dollars on investment, these are in the thousands. But again, my framework and conversations come in, whether you're a gym owner or, again, whether you're somebody that like wants to train long term, save joints, and this might be, one of the best investments you can make. And honestly, this pendulum squat has been one of the best things for me personally, but even for the gym. This is Gym Let Go. Again, none of the brands, I want to be transparent like what the brands are because I love them, but I don't have any affiliation with any of them. So this one has a small blueprint. But again, if I look at the squat pattern, right, and I want to, for me, I had a bad back injury 15 years ago, like really, really bad. And squats became, even deadlifts for a while became something that I couldn't do, especially not heavy. And this allows me to like really push, the variations that I use on the squats is safety squat bar to box, front squats, and then, double kettlebell squats, heavy goblet squats, single leg variations, hack squats, pendulum, and belt. But this has become the one that I use the most because I can push the hell out of it and keep lumbar support. I never feel my back whatsoever. And again, you can, change your foot positions. You can do a lot of different stuff here. My low back is going to stay in touch with the pad, as is my neck, and I can go really deep. Like folks that could, barely get to parallel will go ass to grass on this with stability, get that range of motion, have no threat to system, meaning like they're feeling their legs, but they're not feeling any other kind of like issues and areas. And you can switch up, right? If knees bug a little bit, you can go higher, take that stress off knee. If you want more range of motion, you can go lower on that. But the reality is that what we want, if we want to build strength, if we want to build muscle, we want to create as much force as possible, right? And we have to do something that allows us to create as much force as possible. And the pendulum squat for that squat pattern is excellent. I built a whole bunch of muscle. My strength levels have gone up, and my joints feel great. So next one, this is, and again, this one is the glute drive from Nautilus. And this was a thing that I started doing hip thrust when I hurt my back because it was the thing I could do, and I could do it heavy, and I could do it often without it bugging me. Actually, it helped me out. So, once you start loading up the barbell hip thrust, which I love, but you start loading it up, it takes quite a bit of time. Where here, you're just smacking stuff on very, very fast. You strap in, and just the angle, so it's very friendly to just about anybody, right? And I can put the seatbelt on. Obviously, I don't have a lot of weight on here. We have liftoff, boom, and I start working, right? And I can load it heavy as possible. Very simple to set up. And again, yes, while it's a bit of an investment for anybody that wants to develop posterior chain, hamstrings, glutes, this is excellent. And again, easy to set up, very small footprint as well. So if I was going to essentially go like, hey, what are some things that, nice to have list, want list in a home gym, like these would be it. And last but not least, I actually had this before I had the pendulum squat, is the belt squat. And the belt squat is excellent for not just squatting, but we actually use it for RDLs with with a V-bar handle. So pretend that I'm standing on here, and instead of this belt, we have a V-bar handle, and now we're deadlifting with that, again, with that load being very, very locked in. So I'm going to do a quick, let's see. This is a little bit lower than I want it to be, but by the way, the Henny attachment on this is excellent. Right, so we get liftoff, boom, support. I can stay extremely upright. And there's no, basically axial load, right? There's no load directly on my spine. So for people that have had issues with their back, this is great. It kind of gives you a little bit of traction here, right? And he's forward. I can stay completely upright, get that range of motion, right? Full range of motion, and feels very, very good. While it has a little bit of a bigger footprint, still is something that, again, I said a nice to have, but if you're somebody that wants to crush the legs and muscles, right, but not crush the joints, then all of these are very, very good choices. Again, we said the first three, hundreds of dollars. These ones more into, the low thousands, but again, can be very, very beneficial. So if you are a washed up meathead like myself that still wants to be athletic, build muscle, build strength, feel good, right, save the joints, then check these out. Consider some of these or one of these into your training arsenal. And for more tips like this to feel, look, perform better without any joint pain, make sure you follow this channel.